Well, hello everyone. It's Angela with Trove Tarot, also known here on YouTube as Mystic Moon. Welcome to my second channel and welcome to a Witchy Wednesday reading. I know it's been about a month, you guys, since I have posted on this channel. I just had to get some things done and situated on my other channel, Mystic Moon, and I also have created a few decks and just had some other creative things going on, so I just needed to basically give that my full attention. Didn't have time to split my energy. But today I am back and I'm going to be posting here again on a regular basis. And so I thought, you know what? Let's start off with a Witchy Wednesday. So this is a reading that I actually offer in my Etsy shop. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and click the link down below. All the decks I'll be using here today will also be in the description box. And today's Organite is this beautiful raven skull created by Michelle from Wingham Bell, which will also be down below. So what is a Witchy Wednesday reading? It's really just an empowering reading for anyone watching the video. We're just going to be going into a bunch of different energies. I got a bunch of different decks. Of course, it's like a little witchy theme, but you don't have to be a witch or, you know, even be into spells or rituals to still enjoy this reading. Just take what resonates for you and get rid of anything that doesn't, you guys. So let's go ahead and get started and see what Spirit wants us to know today. So the very first thing that we're going to focus on is what witch or just what energy, how about that, is currently representing you and what's showing up in your life because of this energy, okay? So let's go ahead and see what wants to come through. So this particular deck has both dark and light, so shadow witches as well as light witches, and we're just going to see where our energy is at this time. So what is the current energy here that we are holding and what's showing up because of it? Okay, so we do have a shadow witch, you guys. It is called the Tortured Witch. Now, it doesn't mean that all of you have to be tortured at this time, but it could be an indication that maybe there is something that we are still healing from. And the only way to heal something is to feel the energy. So this is an opportunity for us to pay attention. Maybe something that we have put aside and didn't want to deal with, maybe it's starting to bubble up and, you know, surface again. So anytime we try to suppress anything, it has a tendency to do just that. Now, this could also just be something that is going through your life, right, or going on in your life right now where you're just really struggling with it. So let's go ahead and get some further information to see what else is coming through. This is going to be a goddess energy. So what goddess is coming through here? Okay, so we have Shakti, if I'm saying that correctly, but this says transformation. So what does that word transformation mean to you guys? Well, for me, it means death. Obviously not a physical death. It's more of a metaphor of some sort of spiritual transformation. It could even be like a death of the ego, etc. Very, very difficult to go through a death of the ego. I've gone through many in this life, and it's definitely humbling, and it doesn't really feel good. But the thing is, there is a lot of wisdom and truth that is revealed when you go through one. So the things that we fear the most, so if we're feeling uncomfortable, or we're fearing that, you know, just it has a tendency to somehow work its way into your life, or anything that you're desperately hanging on to because you're afraid you're going to lose it, it usually has an interesting way of slipping through your hands. So this would be good practice, I feel, right now for us to let go a little bit. Anything that's trying to leave our lives, let's just say anything that's trying to change, people that are trying to leave. Maybe we've even outgrown situations. Spirit is basically saying, trust this process because something is happening right now and it's happening for transformational purposes. There can be no change. There can be no movement if we don't allow this transformation to take place. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get another energy here. So these are saints and mystics. We'll see what energy is representing us at this time. Okay, so we have Saint Josephine Bahita. I might be saying that incorrect, but you see the keyword release. This is release and transformation. So there's some sort of an ending, or there's just an old way of being or thinking that's dying off here. So we're meant to embrace this change, and this change is coming up as hard, difficult. It might even be something like we're torturing ourselves with. So the more that we hang on to this, the more that we desperately plead. I mean, you can see here, she has her hands, this witch, she has her hands in a prayer position, as in, please, please, please don't go. Please, please, please don't change. I can't handle this. I need strength and courage to get through this. And so we have all of this energy coming up and basically saying that it is time. It is time for us to release something. That right there is a dove, and that dove is peace. So this will lead to peace in the end, really. You know, even though we might feel scared right now to embrace this change, it will certainly lead to peace. So let's see what element wants to come through. Okay, you guys, we have passion, the soul. So this is definitely something here that is like soul changing. This is something that is like soul shattering. You can see all the butterflies though, and I think even dragonflies there. There is transformation though coming through with this soul shattering energy. You can also see here we have the eye, and the eye, there is water coming from the eye as in tears. But the thing is, what this is going to do is it is going to carve out room for you to go after something better. Now, this could also be that you turn your pain into gain. You make that pain matter. You do something. You turn this sadness or this torturous energy or things that you can't control. You turn them into something constructive, such as art and creation. You do something creative with this energy. So not everything in our lives that happens has to, yes, it feels painful, but it doesn't actually have to stay that way. We can transmute this energy. So even though we have the words release and transformation, we can also transmute that energy. And what does that mean? That means that we take the energy, okay, and we just transmute it into something else, as in transform it into something else, bring it through in a different form. So these tears now can be turned from sadness to passion, you see? And that's just what we're getting here. So we have an opportunity to take something that's very meaningful to the core of who we are, the core of our being, the core of our souls, and to do something constructive or even creative with this entire process. All right, so let's see what herb wants to come through. We have ginger. Power. Yes, I love this. So ginger is a very spicy, it's like a root technically, and it is something that boosts the immune system, gives it a little bit of a bite, anything that you put ginger in, but it's very powerful. So this to me is a positive shift. This is also giving you much more power. You're able to stand in your power. A lot of the times, if there are things that we are negatively hanging on to, Spirit has a way of pushing us into a direction to take back our power, right? Where we might be losing ourselves, or where we might be looking at a situation. So with that eye, maybe there's a situation that we're looking at, and we're not looking at it and we're not seeing the silver lining. We're looking at it, and we're looking at it in the sense that we're powerless, that we're victims, that it's doom and gloom. And Spirit's giving us an opportunity to shift that energy. Make this work for you, whatever this is. Turn it into something amazing. Yes. So let's go ahead and get one more energy, and then we're going to shift to some tarot cards. We have Earth. Love this. So the earth energy is very grounding, you guys. And what you can see here are all of these crops here. These crops are just ready for you to plant new seeds, to experience growth and prosperity and abundance, new things. So a new crop is being presented to you, and you're going to be laying seeds and tending to this garden really in a different way this time. And you're going to experience something much more enjoyable for you. Because this is the thing. Sometimes when we either get that relationship that we think that we want, or that job that we want, or we have that money or success that we, feel like, yes, that's what we want. Sometimes we get it and it's not all we thought it was going to be, or it doesn't actually bring the happiness or the wholeness that we thought it was going to. And so what that gives us, it gives us an opportunity to take a step back and go, okay, where did I go about this situation either wrong, or what did I miss? Or maybe where could I be more whole, so that way I can actually enjoy this when I have this? Because sometimes when we get things, we don't actually appreciate them. I can tell you guys that just from personal experience myself. I experienced a lot of abundance in 2018, 19, and 20. And I'm not saying that I didn't appreciate it, because I did, and I certainly shared it. I certainly, spread that seed and shared it with people that were close to me and really benefited them. So it's not that I held on to it like a miser and was selfish or anything like that. Quite the opposite, actually. But the thing is, I really didn't value it, And so when you don't really value something, you guys, or you don't, you're not smart, you don't make good decisions, it's going to slip through your hands. That's exactly what happened. So it's been a very humbling experience for me, because this prosperity and all of that abundance, I'm not sure that I will ever experience that quite like that, to that level again in this life. And even if I don't, I can at least think, you know what, at least I experienced that at one time. At least I know what it feels like, right? And that is great. But of course, just as a human being, we're always striving to maybe do better, or to improve, or maybe get something back that we once had. But now I know that if I ever do get to that level again, or just maybe even get at least half of what I had before, that I'm going to I feel at this time that I'm going to look at it differently. I'm going to go about things differently. I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to be happier. I'm going to look at it and really appreciate it in a different way. So that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes things are stripped, and it's not a punishment, but some things change because we have to kind of tweak. We have to change or transform as an individual, so that way when we are presented with these things again, then we can have a different experience. And the same thing goes for relationships as well. Some of us meet people that are really, really great, that are really stable, but because we're traumatized, because we're unhealthy and toxic, they're very boring, and so we're going to take a pass. And then maybe years later, it's just kind of like, wow, had I been ready, that person really would have been great for me. Right? So some of us, that regret does actually, it's a stepping stone towards transformation. It's a step towards self-improvement, right? We're not always going to get things right in that moment. Sometimes we're going to have to lose things in order to learn and appreciate things. That's beautiful. Wow. So let's now get some tarot cards and see what we need to know about this situation. Okay, what do we need to know about this situation? What are these lessons or this transformation? Let's get some details about all of this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of these, make some room. Okay. Wow. We have the Ten of Wands, you guys. Is that I don't know. It kind of looks like a badger to me. Or maybe I don't think it's a rat. It kind of looks like a badger with that tail. I could be wrong. But, you know, that badger, honey badger, right? Honey badger don't give a shit. It's like that fierce energy, right? The honey badger, I think, can even get stung like by a toxic, poisonous cobra, and it just passes out and then it just gets back up. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty badass. So the 10 of Wands, you guys, is that energy of just completely overloading yourself, right? Burdening yourself, overdoing it. It's just too much. We burn out. Okay. And sometimes that is our body's way, right? Of crapping out and saying enough is enough. We get sick. We're exhausted. We can't do any more. So there's always that like internal compass going on that helps us to make better choices. Sometimes shit falls apart. Sometimes we lose everything. Again, this is in place in order for us to learn. So if something has ended in your life, or if something like has just reached maximum just capacity, like a volcano, right? This is Spirit's way of telling us that this cycle is basically coming to a close, or something has come to a close for a reason, because the way that we were going about it, it's just not going to work that way anymore. It's not going to benefit us to continuously be in that energy and that situation anymore. So that's why something has changed or is changing. Now we have the 6 of Wands, and it's represented by the peacock. Now, the peacock is very confident, but the peacock can be very cocky, right? Very conceited, very full of themselves. So the 6 of Wands to me is a card of ego. So victory and success, yes, right? But at what cost? Was it at a cost to our well-being? Were we selling ourselves short? Were we doing things that weren't really aligning with us? So it's like engaging in behaviors just to win, engaging in behaviors just to be at the top. And that, I think that there's a healthy way, of course, like a healthy dose of an ego that pushes you to want to strive to do better. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we can get completely overwhelmed and burdened with, I need to be the best. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it can just be burnout mode, right? So Spirit is just reminding us right now that there's a better way to go about it. You can still experience victory and success, but it's going to be with a different attitude. It's going to be just in a different way, and it's going to be a better way. So really, really don't hold on to that old way of living, thinking, or being. It didn't work out for a reason. Be willing to change, be willing to open yourself up and adopt a new attitude and see things in a different light. I love that. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, you guys, is Jupiter's energy, Sagittarius. I believe that is a beetle, right? Beetles are good luck. So this is a luck, this is fortune, this is a turn for the better. This is a new cycle that's presenting itself right now. The Wheel of Fortune is also connected to karma. So whatever karma you had to go through, I feel like with this 10, if you guys are seeing 10 tens, right? Angel number 10 tens, that's Spirit's way of also letting you know that there is a major cycle that is trying to complete, or that has just completed, and that now you have gotten rid of a lot of those heavy burdens and lessons, and you're about ready to now go into a more prosperous, fortunate, lucky cycle. So especially if you've felt like you've had bad luck for a long time, or you've been down and out for a while, things are about ready to change. Things are going to start looking up again. So it's going to turn in a whole new way, but it has something to do with your attitude and the way that you're approaching things and the way that you're even like seeing yourself. So if you were seeing yourself before as somebody that just didn't really have a lot of self-worth, you were downplaying your needs, you were going along with things because that's what other people wanted you to do, you weren't being authentic to yourself, then that might be why something did not work. But now we have an opportunity to be more confident, to believe in ourselves, to know that we deserve more. And this is enough for things to start positively changing, because when we believe in ourselves, then the universe responds to that belief system, responds to that energy. So it's all about what we believe. Now, that also goes in the same way as somebody who is completely has a, inflated ego, thinks their shit doesn't stink, thinks they're all that. Well, guess what? The universe is also going to respond to that. And you might be at the top for a while. You might experience a lot of wonderful things. But at some point when you are not humble, you are going to have that piece of humble pie shoved into your mouth, whether you like it or not. It happens to everyone. So there is, that's karma for you. And the karma is not necessarily a punishment, even though it can feel that way, but it's just to keep you on track with, just basically making choices and learning and growing and expanding or not expanding. It's here in place for a reason. And I just feel it's for expansion purposes, ascension purposes, first and foremost, which is the wheel of fortune to me. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and also our belief systems. So this is really huge right now. Our belief system is everything. What we believe becomes real for us. It does. So you will experience a reality that is mirrored back or mirroring or reflecting back your belief systems. So that's beautiful. That is really beautiful. So that is what we have, you guys, for your current witch. And so this witchy energy or just magical energy that you're currently holding, what's showing up and why it's showing up. I hope that resonated with some of you guys out there. All right. So now we're going to go into the shadow witch, right? What is the shadow witch that wants to come through? So the shadow witch is going to be one that is kind of forcing us to have to look at that shadow side. So let's look at this energy. Okay, so we have the old hag witch. Interesting. So she is a shadow witch actually coming through. And the old hag witch is somebody who she's getting older. As she's getting older, perhaps maybe she's feeling like time is running out. Maybe she is regretful for some of the choices that she has made. Maybe she's put her life on hold. Maybe she's getting older, kind of like that. I'm not getting any younger, but yet, time is running out. So there is this shadow here. It could also be that we're not comfortable in our own skin. Right? We don't love who we are. Maybe we're too focused on the outside and we're not putting enough emphasis on the inside. So if we don't feel good, of course, about ourselves, yes, sometimes if somebody's looking at themselves and they see something every single day, in the mirror, like let's just say you don't like your teeth, or let's just say you don't like, how heavy you are right now. These are just some things. Does it mean that we have to, convince ourselves that, oh no, we're okay with that? If you're not okay with something and you really feel like this is something that is holding you back from truly, truly loving yourself, you do have to pay attention to that. Just because you have people say, it's all only the inside that matters. I'm sorry, but if you're really, really feeling like something is detrimental to your well-being, that's something you're going to have to address. Right? That's something you're going to have to address. And there's certain things such as weight, and it's not necessarily, doesn't have to even be about looks per se. It could just be about just wanting to feel healthier or wanting to live a longer life. Like we're only getting older. Are we taking care of ourselves? Right? And of course, when, we're feeling more fit, we're feeling more energetic, we put on clothes, we look in the mirror, we like what we see. So it's about a balance is what I'm seeing here, which is why she's holding this mask. It's like we have the reality and then we have this mask. It's about kind of meeting ourselves in the middle. What's realistic? What are we looking at that really is something that we can change versus something that we can't change? We can't change our age. We can't change the fact. I can't change the fact that I'm 47, that I'm going to be 48 this year. I can't change it, right? I mean, maybe I can change the outside and look a little bit younger, but I can't change that fact. There's just certain things you can't change. So I feel like that's that message. We have to make peace with certain things when it comes to who we are. And of course, there are things that we can change. Maybe there are some things that we even should change, and that's okay. But there are certain things that maybe other people, social media, movie stars, influencers, things like that, that they present that that's what's beautiful, like big puffy lips and freaking like puffed up faces. I mean, we see this a lot. I don't think that that's great. I don't think that that's attractive at all. I think that a lot of people have absolutely ruined their looks by over-injecting themselves. So I know that that's not something that I want to do, but that doesn't mean that somebody that decides to do that, if they feel good about that and that makes them happy, then so be it, right? But it just depends on where you're at and how you feel about yourself, and making sure that it's not coming from a place of what the media is telling you is beautiful versus what actually is. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like getting caught up in that rat race of trying to, be younger or be a certain way because this is what society is telling you have to look like. So it's about just being comfortable in your own skin, on your own, with your own feelings about it. So let's see what else we've got. We have Yuki Ono, stillness. That's beautiful. So that stillness is like being still or being okay with where you are right now. It's like accepting yourself. So let's just say, for instance, that there's a lot of things that maybe you could have done. Okay. Maybe you're saying to yourself, I should have done this already. I should be here. I should have this. And you don't. What Spirit is telling us is that instead of berating ourselves and hating ourselves and blaming ourselves and staying in that energy, let's look at what we can do today. So get still in this moment. That's how we're going to clear this shadow, clear this blockage here. Instead of berating ourselves for what we didn't do, let's figure out what we can still do now, what we can do now. That is where we're going to make that switch, okay? That's where we're going to make that switch. Okay, we have growth, plants. So we have earth energy coming up. Again, we already got it with the crops, remember? So this is plants. Plant something new, plant new seeds so they can grow. We can't change the past. We can't. And we can't necessarily create the future without being present and still in the present moment. That's the only way that things are going to grow. That's the only way that we're going to create anything new. So Spirit is basically telling us like, yeah, obviously if you feel a certain way, you've got to feel that emotion and you got to feel it in order to heal it, right? I always say this. But at what point are we just complaining or staying stuck or hung up on our issues? At what point are we going to start taking action steps to create these changes? That's what Spirit's trying to tell us here. That's what Spirit's trying to say. At what point are we going to stop complaining, and at what point are we going to start doing? We have Saint Paul, sacred visions. So this is the deal, you guys. A lot of you are getting some sort of visions in regards to what your life should have looked like, up until this point. You're getting some sort of visions on what could possibly be. Do pay attention to these things. I mean, where you imagined you would be at this time, and let's just say you don't have those things, there's no reason that you can't continue to create these things. You know what I mean? There's no reason that you can't do these things now. And it might be also too, some of the visions that we had when we were 20, it might not be that we have these visions today because we've changed, we've evolved, we've matured, we've grown. So make sure that we're expanding with where we're at in our age. That's interesting, age appropriate. I do believe in that. I really do. I do believe that there are age appropriate things. And some people might disagree, and it's totally fine, but I do believe that there's just certain things that, me being 47, maybe that certain behaviors or maybe even just certain ways of looking, certain ways of acting, it just, for me, I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in even doing those things. So I feel like I am aging appropriately, really. And so the visions that you had when you were 20 might not be the visions that you have if you are, a little bit older now. So make sure that we're moving with our visions, that we're allowing our visions to expand and grow, that we're not dead set on it has to look like this or it has to look like that, that we're willing to kind of uproot some old plans and old visions and plant new seeds. So that's kind of the message I'm getting with that one here. Your vision is still your vision. Your vision is still your baby. Your vision is still your life, the canvas that you want to create on and paint on your life. But again, if we're just constantly in that state of, I actually didn't say this yet. If we're not in that state of creating and we're only in that state of thinking and fantasizing about what could be, but we're not actually doing anything, we're not planting or doing anything in the physical world to create growth, then we're just going to keep wasting time. We're just going to keep, we're only getting older. Basically, time will run out eventually. Maybe it won't spiritually run out because, we are souls and these souls never actually extinguish and die. We just transmute, we transform, maybe go into another life, whatever you guys believe in. But physically, our bodies will age and we will expire. What are we going to do with the time that we have left while we're in this body? So if you feel like you have wasted a lot of time so far, don't waste any more time. If you feel like you need to have things perfectly set the way that you have envisioned, then if that's not happening or if that's not possible for some reason or if it's not realistic anymore, Spirit is basically saying it's time for you to maybe make some tweaks. Make sure that what you're looking for or what you're wanting to create makes sense for what you have going on, in your physical body or in your physical life, etc. Interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and see what else. We have give into passion. All right, so I'm getting a couple of messages here. Now, we already got a card in the beginning here, which was passion, right? Passion. And this is now saying give in to passion. So our shadow, whatever it is that we're holding on to or whatever old version, because this can also be like that old hag, an old version of ourselves. The old version of ourselves has expired. It is time for us to now move with the times, move with where life is trying to take us next. So give in to this change, give in to this creative, maybe, new vibrancy or new way of life. Give in to going after the things that you really want in this life. Learn new things, experience new things, take that new job or take that class or travel here, do this, do that. That's what that passion is all about. So give into the things that are driving you. Give into the things that are kind of like egging you on to move forward, to live your life, to make these changes. Lean into that experience because that's really where the living is. So if you haven't lived your life or you're not living or you're just kind of waiting for life to show up, this is Spirit's way of saying stop waiting. Make it happen. Go after it now. Go after it now. All right, let's go ahead and get some tarot cards, you guys. The Hermit. So the Hermit is ruled by Virgo. But the Hermit is about sitting by yourself, going within, spending time alone, in solitude, looking for answers. But see, this is coming up as a block. So that's a wonderful thing to do, but I feel like you guys have done it long enough. I feel like with this Fool now, you got to break out of that paradigm. The Fool is ruled by planet Uranus, which is all about breaking out, freedom, expanding. It's about liberating yourself. So obviously you can see she's on that broom. She has her arms up in the air. She's about ready to take flight. She's ready to take a step off of that cliff. So it's like a new journey, new adventure awaits, taking that risk, taking that leap of faith. So the hermit is very comfortable. They're comfortable in their shell. They're comfortable at home. Maybe they don't get out much. Maybe they just spend all their time alone because it's safe. They don't really have to experience a lot of adversity because they're just kind of keeping to themselves. But I'm going to tell you right now that Spirit is bringing this message up because it's time for us now to get out and start living our lives again. It's time for us to share our energy. It's time for us to take some risks. That's the only way that life is going to start showing up, is if we participate in it. So whatever has happened to you guys that has, if this resonates, has caused you to shut down or caused you to feel like you can't trust anyone, or that life totally sucks, that it's never going to work out for you, that's that old part of you that needs to die off. We need to allow ourselves to be reborn, which is why the Fool is here. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. And I love this because the Ace of Pentacles is really, really working with these cards that have shown up so far. So it really works with this. And it also really works with this. So we take that pentacle, which is a seed, and we plant it in this new crop. That's what we do. That's where we break the block. That's where the paradigm shift is. That's where the release and transformation is. It is in planting new seeds, and it's about being unafraid and fearless to do it. So no one said it will be easy. No one says it's going to just happen just like that. Overnight, you're no longer going to feel like the hermit and you're just going to be the fool. But we've got to start making that shift, or else we're going to continue to stay either stagnant, unhappy, unsatisfied, not just living a mediocre life, settling, and just not feeling that passion that is available for everybody out there if you really believe it and if you really want it. You can be happier than you are right now if you try to go after that and make that happen and create those changes. So those are the messages for the blockages. Now we're going to shift into the energy here of what is a power witch or energy that's going to lend you strength and to help guide you towards what you want in this life. Let's look at this. What witch wants to come up now for this energy? Okay, so we have another shadow witch, and I love this, the cauldron witch. What is the cauldron? And I love this. Look at this, the raven and the raven. Look, that's so cool. So the cauldron witch, what is the cauldron? The cauldron is the creation. It's like the womb. That's what represents. It's the womb for the witch. It's where we grow. It's like the tummy where the baby goes, right? It's that area. So whatever it is that we put into that pot, that is what we are trying to manifest. A lot of rituals and things like that. You know, if you have a cauldron, you'll put things into that cauldron. They used to, cook soups and things like that. It's a creation of something. So our power, which is coming from what we create, what we're putting inside our bodies. You can see here, she's tasting it too. So whatever it is that we are creating. So this is also another message. Whatever you're putting out there, be willing to taste it yourself. So this is talking about if you are spewing negativity, gossip, hate, envy, jealousy, all those things. What's going to happen? You're going to taste the bitterness of what it is that you're putting out there. Okay? So this, and it's not about being perfect and all love and light. Obviously, that's not real like, it's not realistic to be that way all the time. We're going to have people that rub us wrong. We're going to have people that are actually just outright piles of shits that are going to try to hurt you and deceive you. And it totally sucks when this happens and you feel a lot of rage and you want to fight back when this happens. You maybe even want to get even. But at the end of the day, the best thing that you can possibly do with people like this is just cut them out of your life and just be freaking done. You know what I mean? That's the best thing that you can possibly do. Instead of continuing to let them fuel your fire. Forget that. Let other things fuel your fire. Let positive things, things that are going to actually empower you and add to your life, fuel your fire. So it's all about making that shift in our mental state, right? What are we going to allow to light our fire? Because whatever it is that we're putting out there is going to come back at us. It is going to fill our world. It is going to be what we experience. So whatever it is that you're creating, be willing to taste what you're creating. So if it's poison that you're creating, you're just going to end up poisoning yourself. So I think that's a very interesting little depiction there. Okay. And to me, the raven, yes, the raven is definitely a very magical bird. It's a magical creature, but the raven can also be like bad omen, bad news, shadow. That's why this is popping up on the shadow card. We have to be careful with our shadow. We don't need to be afraid of it. We do need to honor it, and we need to understand that it's in place for a reason. But let's not abuse that shadow. Let's not lean into it to the point to where we're completely shadow and we're operating from the shadow only. Let's work with both the light and the dark. Let's work with both of those energies. And there's a little bit of both in that card is what I'm seeing here. You can use that shadow to keep you strong, to hold healthy boundaries with people, right? To stand in your power, to stand in your integrity, to protect yourself. That's what the shadow is for. But you can also use the shadow to harm others and to curse others and to, hurt other people. But then you, of course, end up hurting yourself when you do that as well. So it's just about understanding the laws of attraction, the laws of the universe, the laws of karma, all of it. So let's now get a goddess here that's coming through for power goddess. Okay, so we have Ari and Rod. Not really sure how to say that goddess's name, so I'm going to just not butcher it anymore. But this goddess represents time, okay? Time. So it's funny because we did get the Hag Witch earlier, and the Hag Witch to me was something about running out of time. So we can now shift the timelines. We can now shift our realities. We can, in this moment, start to create changes which will affect time. So it's never too late, is what Spirit is reminding us. It's never too late for us to make changes. It's never too late for us to step into our power and start creating a different story for ourselves. Never too late. And we have the moon. Woohoo! So the moon, of course, is a few different things. The moon is representing the divine feminine energy, right? Our intuition, our emotions, also cycles. But the key word here is darkness. So the moon in tarot represents our shadow, represents our fears, represents confusion, represents the subconscious. So there is this beautiful energy of darkness that we can actually use in a positive way. So this is exactly what I was talking about with this cauldron. A little bit of dark, a little bit of light. Let's let that dark work for us. Let's let it work in our favor. Let's honor it. Let's understand it. Let's learn to dance with that darkness. Let's learn to dance with the devil inside of all of us because we all have it. Why are we going to try to condemn something that's a part of us? Why are we going to try to condemn that we have desires, that we have fears, that we have, some of us bizarre taste, things like that? Why are we going to try to condemn ourselves? Let's try to understand this. Let's understand this part of ourselves. This also will help you to understand that other people that do dark shit, But it's not really about you, it's about them. So when someone hurts you, when someone lies to you, when someone deceives you, that's coming from their own stuff, okay? That's coming from them. That's a representation of their own shit, not yours. So we don't have to feel like such victims all the time. And I'm not talking about every circumstance where people do things to us. I'm just talking about, just your run-of-the-mill, somebody steps to you in the wrong way, insults you, lies to you, hurts you in some kind of casual type of way, even though it totally stinks and it hurts. But we don't have to feel like such victims. We can look at that person and say, wow, this individual must be really unhappy. This individual must have a lot of unresolved crap, which is why they're flinging all their shit onto me. So that's what I'm talking about. And we don't have to actually waste so much time on these people. We don't have to waste so much time in misery. We don't have to waste so much time feeling defeated by other people's dark actions. Because people that are in that energy have not worked out their shadow. They have not worked out their traumas. And until they do, and until enough time goes on, sometimes people never clear their shadow. Sometimes people just move through their life very reptilian and just are here to survive and take what's theirs, and they die that way. Not everybody is going to evolve in this life. Not everybody is going to do the right thing with time even. Some of your enemies will never see the error of their ways, no matter how much time goes on. So the best thing that you can possibly do, instead of cloak yourself in darkness because of their lack of awareness or understanding, is to just realize that, you know what? They've got to figure things out, and I'm figuring things out, and I'm looking at things this way, which helps to empower me. So we can take the dark things that happen to us, we can take the dark thoughts that we have, we can take the pain, and we can create gains in this life from all of that. And so that is what I'm talking about here, are the things that have happened to us that have been painful and dark. We can actually become stronger individuals, and that's why it's coming up in the Power Witch category here. Love this energy. Yes. Confidence. It says, by earth and air, water and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. Yes. So this is about you just going higher and higher and higher. You ascending from this dark process. You taking your pain and turning it into a gain. Yes, absolutely. So with time, you are going to get better and better at this, which is also what Spirit is saying. You're not just going to get it the first time around. I don't know how many times I've had to go through things where I'm like, oh my God, I totally get it. And then I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get it. Because then why am I here again? Why am I doing the same exact shit, but with different people? Wow, I still have something to learn. So sometimes when we think we got it all figured out, Spirit's like, do you? Do you? So we go into the flame again, just to get burned again, just to come back out and go, okay, I really got it this time. And sometimes, yeah, maybe we really do got it this time. And then other times we'll get tested again and we'll see, did we really learn that lesson? Did we really clear that thing? Did we really take back our power? Where are we? So interesting things that life is always throwing our way. Okay, let's see what else. We have Luna Sista. Remove all negative energy imprints. Wow. So this is the thing, you guys. If there are people in your lives, whether they are your actual, biological families, soul families, friends, coworkers, lovers, whatever, everybody makes an imprint on us. They do, okay? But it's up to us whether or not we're going to allow these people to remain in our energy fields forever. Now, there are some people that you just feel no matter what, they're always going to be a part of you, for sure. But do you see this? 23 and 32. So these are 2 5s. And what are 5s? 5s mean change. And it's going to be a challenge to change this, but we can do it. You do have the power, you guys, to change this. So this is saying we've got to remove these negative. So not every single person that has imprinted on you and you've imprinted on them is a negative thing. Learn the difference between what stays and what goes. There are some energies that are with you that inspire you to want to be a better person. They give you that creative inspiration. And there are others that drain your energy supply, that are just toxic. And so you're going to know the difference. And sometimes people are just, sorry, batshit crazy. I was having a conversation with a really good friend of mine. I think it was last week. And we were talking about, how there's just certain people that will say certain things to you. And she had another person point out to her, why do you care what that crazy person thinks about you? Because they're freaking insane. Like literally, they're insane. And it's so simple, but my friend was just like, she was so right. Why would I even care about what this crazy person thinks about me? So that's the thing. When someone makes a judgment about you, you can't control it. You can't control what other people are going to label you. You can't control what other people are going to think about you. So the best thing that you can possibly do is to just try your best to just cut that away, burn it away. Whatever you've got to do. We do have smoke coming from a bowl. And we do have the fire in this cauldron. Some of you guys may want to do some sort of fire ritual, like a fire releasing ritual. And it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes, because earlier in the reading, we got transformation and release. And that to me is phoenix rising, fire energy. And we do have this moon here. Even though that's a full moon, we are going to be going into the new moon in Aries, you guys, and that's going to be on March 21st. And in Aries is the Emperor in Tarot, as well as Queen of Wands. And I'm going to be doing a special reading for Divine Feminines with the Queen of Wands. I created a spread and everything. So if you guys are not a part of that newsletter yet, definitely sign up. The link will be down below. But it's very fiery energy, very confident Aries energy. It gives us an opportunity to take back our power. So I feel like even though this is that full moon, it doesn't matter. This new moon in Aries, I feel you might do some sort of fire ritual. And you can obviously see here, there's a fire. We're doing a fire ritual and we're getting rid of all this crap that no longer serves us. We're inviting in new energy. We're closing out an old cycle and we're inviting in a new cycle with new people, maybe new people that get us. Maybe, just new experiences. We're getting rid of those energy vampires. We're getting rid of all that negative crap, all those negative vibes, all those just people that might just have crazy either ideas about themselves, about life. Maybe you just can't work with them. Maybe it's just like there's just no way of dealing with someone who's nuts. You just can't. And it's not trying to make fun of those people, because they could literally have some sort of psychological trauma and even things going on medically that create them to be this way. But at the end of the day, that's why our shadow is here to operate, saying we don't need to deal with it. Like the light side of people might say, I'm just going to be loving and kind to this person that continuously is abusing, berating, using, stealing. Let's just say like a drug addict, for instance, somebody who's on heroin. They're addicted to drugs. It's not really them. So I'm just going to let them stay in my home. And even though they steal from me and all these things, there's a reason why there's a show called Intervention. There is a reason that at the very end of that show, that the family members who, yes, love their son or their daughter, whoever this is like, look, I'm doing this because I love you. This is tough love. This is me loving you, and this is also me loving myself and saying, these are my boundaries. That is why the shadow is in place here. And a lot of people can mistake that and say, oh, we got to be love and light. Oh, we've got to be forgiving. We've got to be good this and good that. That doesn't apply with everyone, because there are some people out there that are just so toxic and so negative and even so mentally ill and sick that you cannot have them in your life, that you cannot operate or have a functioning relationship with them on any level. It won't work. So the best thing that you can do is just remove these people or remove yourself from this situation, because you're not going to change them. You're not going to change anybody. All you can do is change yourself. So that's that message there. Interesting. So that's our power witch, you guys. That is our power witch. Our power witch is that we are both made of dark and light, and we can choose who stays, who goes, what we're going to create, and what we don't want to create. We can do that. The Two of Pentacles. I love that this is coming up. We can have both. We can honor our shadow side and we can honor our light side. We can work with both energies. We can go back and forth, which is the Two of Pentacles. Yep. Light, dark, just finding that balance there. We can juggle the two. That to me is about being even-minded in this life to be able to experience more peace and balance. We have the moon's energy. Interesting. We have double moon. The moon is here to reveal, but the moon not only illuminates the shadow for a reason, because the shadow is important. It's not the most important thing. It's not more important than the light. The light's not more important than the dark. They're equally important. So this is about us doing our shadow work or honoring things that are coming up that are making us feel uncomfortable. Things that maybe we've shoved down and pushed to the side are now bubbling up to the surface for us to transmute. This is all going to give you confidence and power. That's why it's coming through the power witch energy now. And we have the star. Fantastic. The star. So the moon is connected to, by the way, Cancer and Pisces. I forgot to say that. And now we have the star, which is Aquarius. First of all, the star is healing. The star is having faith. The star is divine guidance. The star means that the stars are aligning for us. There is a destined path that's opening up for us. Things are being illuminated. We are meant to aim higher, reach for the stars, which means that if we are settling in our lives and we are not happy, this is Spirit's way of pushing us to make changes so we can go after the things that we truly want. So don't be afraid to let go. Be afraid of settling. Be afraid of settling, not letting go. Because it's like life is here wanting you to take some sort of bite out of it. And if you're not going to bite it, you're not going to ever taste it. It's what we've got here. So this raven has been sitting up the entire time and now it wants to move. All right, we're going to end this reading now with your future witch self and a snapshot of you living your best life. Hell yes. Let's see. Okay, so we had actually all shadow witches coming through. And so with this deck, we've got the yellow, which is the light, and then we've got the red, which is the dark. So that's how I know. And I like this because I feel like this, again, is just telling us that we need to embrace this darker side of ourselves. Okay, and it's not an evil, that's not the kind of dark we're talking about. But we are talking about the shadow revealing something to us and helping us to see something great. So the hedge witch. So do you see how she's kind of coming up over the hedge? She's just peeking over to see what is over that hedge, what is next, what's out there. That is you guys. So you are looking at your future. You're peeking into the future. We also have this little nest here with all these hungry birds. And then we have this mama bird coming in with a worm. And then we also have these little critters here. And sometimes, we're so scared of those spiders and, all these little critters. But we realize that when you're working in a garden, and it doesn't mean that we can't be afraid of things in the garden, because there could be things that are really poisonous. Actually, there could be like bacteria even in soil. So, we do have to be careful, use gloves, things like that. But I remember when I worked at this flower shop when I used to live in California, and I'm afraid of bees because I've never been stung like by a bee or actually I did get bit by a wasp once at the lake, but I've never been stung by a bee. And so just something about being stung by something, it doesn't do it for me. So I just naturally have a fear of it. But it was interesting because when I was working at this flower shop, the bees that were there, I would just reach into the flowers and they were all around. They did not give a crap about me. They were just there for pollination purposes, gathering things. And it was like I was one with them. I never got stung and I never had fear. And it was so cool to feel that peace in that environment. So I'm kind of getting this message here that this is you guys in the future. You are at one, you're at peace with your environment, both the dark and the light. You're taking some risks. You're willing to look at the future. You're willing to go after things. You're willing to grow. You're willing to plant new seeds. This is fantastic. All right. And we have Demeter, nurturer. So we are really nurturing ourselves. This is, to me, like the Empress energy. So we're all earth, baby. We are planting seeds. We are nurturing those seeds. We are taking care of ourselves. We feel good. And then now we have Saint Christopher, soul journey. Love it. So this right here is talking about the journey of our souls, the journey of our life, where we are headed, right? We are headed exactly where we are meant to head. This to me is a destined path. This is something that we are headed towards. This is something for our souls to experience. So this is what the future holds. It's beautiful. So let's see. I'm going to go into this deck here. Oh my gosh, you guys. So we have 2 cards with the same exact words. Confidence. So this says here, and it is interesting too, 23 again, 5s. So if you guys are seeing a lot of 5s, that's Spirit's way of showing you that something is changing or needs to change. It's time to head in a new direction. She's on a bus, so she is traveling. So confidence, it comes with time and practice. Interesting. We had the word time. Came up in this card right here. A lot of repeats here. A lot of repeats in the words. Time. So your confidence is something that you're going to be building. Maybe you don't feel very confident right now. Maybe you feel like you cannot make these changes. Maybe you feel like right now you can't do those things. So this is Spirit's way of saying that you are going to start making changes. So that way you will have more confidence. You're going to start making those changes to build your confidence. This is something that you will be doing. So that's amazing. Let's go ahead and get some tarot cards. What does the future look like? Because we have conjured up the strength and courage and confidence to make changes. What's showing up? Okay, so we have the 5 of Swords, so we are slaying, okay? The 5 of Swords means that we are definitely walking away when we need to, and we also know when to stand our ground. So this to me is a nice balanced energy. So we win some, we lose some. We realize that there's just certain things, and interesting, another number 5. We realize that there's just some things that are worth fighting for and other things that aren't. We realize that some things that are worth our time and energy and other things that are not. So we are making the appropriate changes. And we have the 6 of Pentacles, which is awesome because the 6 of Pentacles is connections and people and life that is like giving and receiving. So it's very reciprocal. So if we've been experiencing a lot of loss and defeat, we're going into more of a prosperous time where life is giving back because we're feeding ourselves. So when we feed ourselves and we nourish ourselves, we have energy, right? If we don't, then we're depleted. So that's changing is what I'm seeing here. This is also about relationships with other people, whether they're romantic, whether they are just work situations or community, family, friends, whatever, because we are giving in a way that is coming from a place of wholeness, then we're not being taken advantage of. So a perfect example would be that if you're trying to people please and you're trying to like do the work for other people, and you are trying to maybe overgive because you're overcompensating for something, you might not be appreciated. So then you're going to be pissed off because you did so much, or you gave so much and you didn't get anything in return. This is not the kind of giving that's happening here in the future. You're either going to just give, and it's not going to come from a place of expectation, or it's not going to come up from a place of lack. So whatever shows up for you, you're actually going to be quite happy and fulfilled. And what's probably going to end up happening is you're going to attract people, or you're going to be in a circumstance with people where they're actually giving to you in a whole way as well. So it's a nice reciprocal energy. And also this can be assistance, as in the universe assists you in the form of a person or some sort of abundance, but we're getting something back, and it's positive. And we have the Ten of Swords. Okay, so you can see here this Ten of Swords gal is holding her cell phone. So what I'm seeing here, you guys, is that you are no longer living your life behind a screen. You're no longer just participating with life on social media. I'm not trying to say you guys are going to cancel your social medias or anything, but instead of looking at social media and participating only through social media, you're actually going to have those experiences. You're going to go out and you're going to live your life for real. And maybe you're going to just leave your phone at home, okay? Or you're not even going to care to record that experience because it's not about social media, and it's not, this pretend world that we're trying to create, if that resonates. You're actually going to be present in your experiences. That's what that tells me here. So we are ending things and ending behaviors that don't serve us. And we're stepping into real life instead of also focusing on the past. So if some of you guys are watching someone's social media, or some of you guys are obsessed with social media, this is a behavior that is literally soul sucking. It will kill your soul. So I feel like a lot of you are going to start to step more into physical life and physical world experiences rather than social media or pretend experiences. So there's a choice I feel that will be made. There's an actual exchange of energy in real life with people. And we have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands, of course, is even though we're having these experiences with people, we do still have a healthy guard up. Why? Because we've gone through things. You're not going to just go into something without thinking. You're not going to just let anybody in. You're smarter now because of what you've gone through. You've gone through some shit. I know I have. So I'm not going to just let anybody in next time, because I know my worth now. I know who I am now. Maybe I didn't before, which is why a lot of shit happened. But moving forward, it's not like I can be foolproof here, but I'm certainly going to go in with a better head on my shoulders. And so we're smarter, we have more wisdom, we have more strength. This is a good thing. We have the Page of Swords. To me, this is a slaying energy, because that's just what I'm getting here with all of these swords here. We are slaying. We are taking that sword. We're thinking about things. We're thinking before we speak. We're analyzing people. We're analyzing situations. We're not wearing our heart on our sleeve. It doesn't mean we are not in our heart space, but we're just not wearing our heart on our sleeve like maybe we used to. And this, again, the shadow has revealed a lot to us. The shadow may have also revealed not only an ugly part of ourselves, of who we don't want to be, but an ugly side of people and how they can be. And it's very real. So we can take this and put it in the memory bank. We don't have to allow it to stop us from living our lives or be in a state of fear, but it can be a reminder to us of, ooh, you know what? The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up, or, ooh, that's a red flag. Let me pay attention to that instead of pretending that that's not there, or that person didn't just say that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've literally had people in my past tell me, this is who I am. And I'm just like, well, that's not going to apply to me. I'm the exception. Wasn't. Why didn't I listen? I don't know. But we live and we learn. We live and we learn. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. So where you guys are headed, you guys, You're definitely headed towards great things. You're headed towards an awesome future, a future that is filled with success, a future that is connected and filled with family and friends, connections that you've made that are going to last for either a lifetime or for a long time moving forward. But this is definitely about upping your game and dealing with people and experiencing life with people that actually want to go the long haul with you, that actually are not just fair-weathered friends or people that you have constant issues with. This is people that actually want to go places with you. They want to build with you. They want to build a life with you. So some of you guys are looking to create a business or to create, to have a marriage or a family or partnership or whatever. To me, this is us cutting off this old part of ourself, this old version, because this old version can't come with us, because that old version is still kind of creating old crap, defeating situations. This new person is much more seasoned. This new person is stronger. This new person is wisdom filled, and they're using both their shadow and their light to operate in this new world. And they're more confident, and they're going to go after the things that they really, truly value. Why? Because they value themselves. That's why. And other people are going to recognize, and other people are going to start treating you like you're valuable. That's what's happening here. So that is what I have for you guys today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this reading, and I'm going to bring forth another reading either on Friday or maybe Sunday of this week. So stay tuned for that. And obviously on my other channel, Mystic Moon, I'm doing a bunch of love and soul connection readings over there. So that's the theme of that channel over here. It's going to be more based on just like different types of things, variety of subjects, things like that. So anyways, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe share this video with somebody that you feel that will benefit from it. I have all my links down below. If you guys want to tip me for today's reading or donate a deck to me or anything like that, everything will be down below. Personal readings, everything. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.